I'm going to be talking about another hate crime hoax, which seems like we get one or two of these every month now. But I don't want to simply present it to you as red meat. Rather, I want to help you learn to suss out whether or not a story seems legitimate or doesn't. How to begin to sort of reconstruct a valid BS meter. In other words, how to read a story and suss out whether or not it's plausible. Andy No broke this story. Let's see how it was reported in the media.
A routine walk turned into a nightmare for a Southern California man. 39-year-old Scott Rowan went to a restaurant in his San Diego neighborhood to inquire about a job. He says he heard two people yelling homophobic slurs at him, so he yelled back. Rowan, who is gay, says the next thing he knew, he was being doused with some sort of liquid and then set on fire.
Immediately after that, I went up kinda like coals on a barbecue. Instantly just went into flames. They were obviously out targeting LGBT community.
Rowan suffered second-degree burns, mostly along his side and back. Not clear if he'll need surgery. He says this is definitely a hate crime, and he filed a police report.
Of course, it turned out that wasn't even close to true. This was a hoax. Apparently, CCTV captured him beating a pregnant woman until she was bleeding. She set him on fire and he fled. Nevertheless, many on social media fell for the hoax and said it was evidence of fascism and white supremacy. Of course, white supremacy, because everything is white supremacy, even though there was nothing about race in this entire story. Gay man set on fire in hate-filled attack. This is why we're not even safe in blue states. We have to fight the bigots and the fascists as ferociously wherever they are. In a horrifying act of violence, a gay man was set on fire in San Diego, sending shockwaves through a yada yada yada. Listen, the first test is simply this. If the story perfectly confirms somebody's pre-existing biases, if it perfectly agrees with a general narrative, you should immediately become skeptical. The way these stories go is that it's close to true, but the facts that they leave out fundamentally change the story. Reporting from the post-millennial calls it a hate hoax. Turns out he was beating a woman. He shows some of his pictures about how bad it was. And we'll come down here. It says, according to San Diego Police Department, the incident took place on June 12th on the 900 block of 6th Avenue around 1040. Officers responded to numerous 911 calls reporting a man beating up a pregnant woman. I hate hearing that there are multiple 911 calls and not hear that there was a bunch of people who stepped in to stop this nonsense. However, when they arrived, he had already fled. Just under 2 hours later, a man called 911 reporting that he had been set on fire and was quickly determined that he was a suspect wanted for the aforementioned beating and that she burned him. The flip side of the story is also very weird. The story goes, in the days since the attack, investigators have tracked down CCTV footage revealing the initial physical assault by the man on the pregnant woman and the subsequent use of fire as a weapon by the pregnant woman on the man. The investigators call this a very complex investigation. When they call it a complex investigation, and whenever you hear the idea of fire being used as a weapon, the image I'm sort of getting is like having an Axe bottle spray, in like a lighter, and so creating a little flamethrower sort of a situation. This story is very weird. So the second thing, first off, if it confirms the narrative, be skeptical. Second is, if the details in the reporting seem odd, don't believe it hook, line, and sinker. Just say, okay, I want to hear more about this. This story is incomplete. They have not painted a full picture here. And that may be for a bunch of reasons. It may not be bad reporting. It may simply be the fact that a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. So those two things will help you sort of suss out when you should be very skeptical. And then that leads to a broader idea here. The third thing I really want to emphasize is the idea of epistemic humility. The fact is that you don't have access to all the information to derive perfectly true conclusions. And even if you did, you still wouldn't always draw perfectly true conclusions. And so we need to simply be willing to say, because it takes truth a longer time to come out, lies are much faster, much more expedient, because they don't care about things like facts, evidence, logic. Therefore, we should simply go, I want to hear more about this story before I'm willing to draw my conclusion. I love this quote by Sherlock Holmes to really sum up this idea. It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. So if you're a conservative and the story is totally pro-cop, be a little bit skeptical, slow down, wait for more information. If you're a liberal and the story is super pro-Black Lives Matter, slow down, wait for the information to come in. Let's all form our opinions based on what is true and real and be devoted to the good and the beautiful. That's it for today. My name is Ryan Martin and this is Unsafe Media. If you're the kind of person who has not joined my Patreon yet, you're probably also the kind of person who thought that Jussie Smollett was legitimately telling the truth. So Until next time, trust God, keep your powder dry.